Imagine you are walking through a quiet forest, maybe grabbing that perfect artisanal latte. You hear a snap of a twig. Your brain, optimized for surviving modern, comparatively weak threats, like a grumpy raccoon or a speeding cyclist, tells you, run. But what if that snap wasn't a chipmunk? What if it was the sound of 1,000 pounds of muscle deciding your skeletal structure looks delicious? We all have an idea of what a powerful predator looks like. Lions, bears, maybe a great white shark if you watch enough Discovery Channel. But those are dino-normie threats. The creatures we are talking about today, they didn't just hunt, they optimized killing into a brutal, non-negotiable science. They were the biological equivalent of an extinction-level event aimed directly at your soft, squishy existence. Today we are counting down the top 5 extinct creatures where your survival clock hits 0 in less than 10 seconds.
We are ranking them not by sheer size, but by the speed and efficiency of the kill. 10 seconds is generous. Most of these encounters result in instant, catastrophic failure for the human wetware. So, buckle up, check your pulse, and let's dive into the lost worlds where you were firmly placed at the bottom of the food pyramid. Number 5. The direwolf, Canis dirus. You might think, oh, a wolf, I can outsmart a wolf. And that's where the direwolf laughs its huge, bone-crushing laugh from the Pleistocene grave. When researchers first pulled hundreds of skulls out of the sticky, petroleum-scented asphalt of the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, they initially thought they had found massive gray wolves. But a closer look, especially the 2021 genomic analysis conducted by researchers at the University of Durham, told a totally different story. Canis dirus wasn't just a big dog. It was an evolutionary divergence, separating from modern gray wolves roughly 6 million years ago.
They are about as closely related to Fido as a human is to a chimpanzee. The direwolf was an absolute unit compared to modern wolves. Imagine taking a 150-pound Olympic athlete of a wolf, giving it a neck thicker than your thigh, and equipping its jaw with massive, specialized teeth known as shearing carnassials, specifically designed not just to tear flesh, but to crunch through the thickest femurs of megafauna like Bison antiquus or juvenile mammoths. Their heads were proportionally huge, built to anchor the necessary muscle to apply tremendous crushing force. We're talking about an animal that weighed up to 175 pounds, the size of a very large mastiff, but with the musculature and endurance of a marathon runner. Why the 10-second kill time? Not for the solo hunter, but for the pack. Modern wolves hunt in complex, coordinated units. Dire wolves, living in an environment absolutely saturated with dangerous prey, giant short-faced bears, American lions, ground sloths the size of cars, had to be hyper-efficient hunters. If you wander into a pack of dire wolves, those 10 seconds are divided like this. Seconds 1 through 3. They spot you. Unlike a territorial bear that might give a warning bluff, a dire wolf pack views you as protein, plain and simple. Their priority is taking down large, struggling animals. Seconds 4 through 6. The charge begins. Paleontologists theorize that dire wolves were likely slightly less speedy than gray wolves over a long distance, but they had incredible acceleration and tenacity. You are not outrunning them. Seconds 7 to 10. Total systemic failure. 1 or 2 dire wolves hit you low, targeting the hamstrings or Achilles tendon to drop you. This is the oldest, most effective hunting strategy known. Once you hit the ground, the rest of the pack swarms. Their goal isn't just to wound, it's catastrophic trauma. Those powerful jaws snap bone instantly, causing rapid shock and fatal injury before you can even register the pain. Your ability to fight back is 0. You become roadkill, except the road has teeth. It's nightmare fuel when you realize 4,000+ direwolf skeletons were found at La Brea. They were so relentless in their pursuit of food, even trapped food, that they sacrificed their lives, proving that once they started a meal, nothing stopped them. They are terrifying because they represent the ultimate in organized, persistent brutality. Number 4. The Entelodon, hell pig. Okay, let's leave the relatively recent Pleistocene and take a trip way back to the Oligocene and Miocene epochs, about 35 to 16 million years ago.
This is where we meet an absolute unit nicknamed the Hell Pig, or officially Entelodon. Specifically, we're talking about Daeodon shoshinensis, the largest member of this family.
The name Hell Pig is perhaps the understatement of the Cenozoic era. Forget the cute pink farm animal. Imagine a beast that looks like a warthog mated with a rhino, then equipped its offspring with the legs of a cheetah and a head the size of a smart car. Daeodon stood nearly 7 feet tall at the shoulder, weighed around 2,000 pounds, the size of a small Honda Civic, and its most terrifying feature was its head. It had these incredible, grotesque, bony protrusions, or jugal flanges, jutting out from its cheeks. Dino normies often mistake these for purely defensive structures, but detailed biomechanical analysis suggests they were mostly anchor points for obscenely large jaw and neck muscles, crucial for fighting rivals and tearing apart carcasses. They also probably looked intimidating as hell, signaling, "Do not mess with me." The Entelodon lineage was bizarre. They were artiodactyls, meaning they were related to modern pigs, hippos, and whales. But their niche was pure, unapologetic hypercarnivory and aggressive omnivory. Why the rapid kill? It's the bite force combined with unexpected speed and total lack of fear. Researchers estimate the bite force of Daeodon rivaled or surpassed that of many large crocodiles. Their teeth were terrifying, enormous incisors for pulling and stripping, canines the size of police batons, and molars capable of pulverizing bone. Your 10 seconds of survival play out like this in the Miocene swamps. Seconds 1 to 5, the ambush. Entelodons weren't slow. Those long, lean legs meant they could charge at speeds upwards of 25 miles per hour. They likely spent time near watering holes, relying on massive body mass to overwhelm prey. You, an unlucky primate, are now the target. Seconds 6 to 8, the impact. Unlike a cat that relies on stealth and precision, the Hell Pig delivers brute force. It hits you like a truck, bowling you over, breaking several major bones just with the collision. The decisive strike. The Entelodon does not need to mess around with a slow bleed out. It clamps down on whatever part of your body is most accessible: a limb, the chest, or the head. The sound of its jaws snapping shut would be the last thing you hear, immediately followed by the sound of your own bones turning into dust. This wasn't a throat slash. This was structural collapse. You are functionally dead upon contact. If you look at the fossil record, there is evidence of these beasts scrapping, skulls showing massive trauma consistent with the bony head spikes of rivals. If they did that to each other, imagine what they would do to a fragile, unarmored human. They embody nightmare fuel because they look fundamentally wrong, yet were incredibly successful for millions of years. Number 3. Smilodon fatalis, saber-tooth cat. Ah, the iconic saber-tooth. Every dino normie loves the Smilodon. They envision it as a sleek, fast cat chasing down horses. And they would be completely wrong. The Smilodon, particularly Smilodon fatalis of the late Pleistocene, the most studied species, distinct from the larger S. populator, was not a long-distance sprinter like a modern cheetah or even a lion. Anatomical studies, particularly those focusing on limb ratios and spinal flexibility, show that Smilodon was built for wrestling and overpowering, not speed. This was a linebacker built like a brick outhouse, weighing around 400 to 600 pounds, with arms and shoulders proportionally stronger than any modern cat. Smilodon's mission was simple: kill the target right now. If the fight lasted more than a minute, they risked damaging their prized weapons, those magnificent, terrifying canines. Those 6 to 8 inch sabers weren't designed for tearing through hides. They were surprisingly fragile. A strike against bone during a struggle could snap them. Therefore, the Smilodon had to be the master of the ambush, the ultimate practitioner of the precise, decisive kill. Your 10-second encounter with this specialized assassin starts and ends with devastating precision. Seconds 1 to 4, the pin down. Smilodon is an ambush predator. You won't see it until it's too late. It springs from cover, using its massive forelimbs, stabilized by huge claws, to instantaneously tackle and pin you to the ground. Its short, powerful legs and heavy musculature meant it could anchor itself instantly,
neutralizing your ability to move or fight back. Seconds 5 to 7, the setup. This is the crucial moment. A lion goes for a suffocating bite to the windpipe. Smilodon, however, possesses bizarrely powerful neck muscles inserting onto the tall neural spines of its vertebrae that were used to bring the head down in a mighty stab. It needs its jaw open to 120 degrees, much wider than a lion, to clear the canines, meaning the prey must be perfectly restrained first. Seconds 8 to 10, the fatal shearing. The cat performs the killing maneuver, often targeting the carotid artery or the trachea or the jugular vein. The sabers weren't for tearing, but for precision shearing, causing immediate catastrophic blood loss and dropping blood pressure to 0. Modern biomechanical studies suggest the kill was so rapid and targeted that the prey was essentially dead within seconds of the stab, ensuring minimal struggle and protecting the delicate weapons. In the Smilodon's world, there was no escaping once the paws were on you. It was a specialist designed solely to end the confrontation instantly. If you survived the initial pin, you were fighting a half-ton of pure, motivated muscle, and the fight would still only end one way. You, R.I.P., lying next to the massive, terrifying, short king of the cats.
Now, before we transition into the true absolute units of the Mesozoic, the ones that make the dire wolf look like a poodle, we need a quick message from our fictional sponsors. Staring down the maw of a Daeodon or trying to outrun a Smilodon can be exhausting. You need energy that lasts longer than your 10 seconds of guaranteed life. That's why we're powered today by Paleo Fuel Coffee. You think hunting a Triceratops is hard? Try pulling an all-nighter reconstructing fossilized bone fragments. Paleo Fuel Coffee guarantees sustained energy without the crash. It's high-octane caffeine refined through volcanic filtration, ensuring every sip tastes like victory over geological time. Find Paleo Fuel Coffee, the brew strong enough to wake up a fossil record, online today. Now, back to why you'd already be a stain on the Cretaceous Earth. We are now entering the realm of the Dino Titans. The creatures listed below operate on a scale that defies modern comprehension.
When we talk about survival against these two, we aren't talking about fighting or fleeing. We are talking about your total mass being instantly rearranged into the basic components of roadkill. Number 2. Carnotaurus sastrae. If the Tyrannosaurus is the undisputed king, the Carnotaurus is the sleek, hellish speed demon of the south. Hailing from the late Cretaceous of Patagonia, Argentina, specifically discovered by the legendary José Bonaparte in the 1980s, this animal holds a unique and terrifying place in the predatory hierarchy. Carnotaurus means meat-eating bull, a reference to those utterly bizarre, distinct horns located right above its eyes. It stood maybe 10 to 12 feet tall at the hip and stretched about 25 feet long. While certainly smaller than the T-Rex, weighing perhaps 3,000 pounds, the weight of a large pickup truck, it was optimized for one thing: velocity. The 10-second survival time here is defined by acceleration and the catastrophic impact of its skull. First, let's talk about the unique anatomy. Carnotaurus possessed ridiculously tiny arms. I mean, T-Rex arms are a joke, but Carnotaurus arms are legitimately worse. They were essentially functionless, vestigial nubs. It had virtually no ability to grasp or restrain prey using its forelimbs. So, how did it kill? Research has largely dismissed the idea of a classic bite-and-hold strategy. Carnotaurus had a relatively shallow, weak snout compared to its northern cousins, and its teeth were thin, blade-like, and curved backward, suited for stripping meat rather than crushing bone. A landmark 2017 biomechanical study focusing on its caudofemoralis muscle, the massive muscle complex that connects the tail to the femur, powering locomotion, suggested that Carnotaurus possessed an unparalleled ability to rapidly accelerate and maintain high speeds. This was the F1 racer of the large theropods. Estimates put its top speed easily above 30 miles per hour, perhaps closer to 35 miles per hour, making it arguably the fastest large dinosaur predator. The kill strategy, therefore, was likely high-speed impact, the pursuit, the rapid closure of distance, and the head strike. Your 10 seconds against a Carnotaurus in the arid, scrub-filled Patagonian ecosystem of 70 million years ago. Seconds 1 through 3, detection.
Carnotaurus closes the distance faster than anything you have ever encountered. It detects you, a warm, slow-moving anomaly, and launches its attack. You may not even realize it's there until it's too late, as its speed makes the sound lag behind the visual. Seconds 4 through 7. The charge. The ground shakes as this absolute unit barrels towards you. Its body is rigid, its legs pumping. The head is held low, ready for the strike. Seconds 8 through 9. The impact. Forget evasion. You are struck by 1.5 tons of muscle hitting you at highway speeds.
Its skull was surprisingly rigid, built less for grappling and more for sustained, repetitive impact, like a prehistoric battering ram equipped with those bizarre horns. When it hits, your entire structure fails. Ribs shatter, internal organs rupture, and the speed of the trauma guarantees instant death from catastrophic kinetic energy transfer. You are not just killed, you are pulverized into a piece of roadkill that then needs specialized processing. The feeding. Once immobilized by the impact, the Carnotaurus uses those narrow jaws and razor-sharp teeth to slice chunks of flesh from the carcass. The battle is over before you even hit the dirt. The Carnotaurus embodies pure kinetic nightmare fuel. Its existence proves that sometimes all you need is overwhelming speed to guarantee zero survival time. This short king of the T-Rex family killed you by turning your body into an airbag.
Number 1. Tyrannosaurus rex. If any creature defines the phrase, "game over," it is the Tyrannosaurus rex. This isn't a surprising pick, but the reason it takes the number 1 spot is crucial. The speed of your demise is proportional to the sheer, overwhelming, optimized destructive capability packed into this single organism. You do not survive 10 seconds, because the moment the T-Rex decides you are prey, the laws of physics are deployed against your continued existence. We are talking about an absolute unit, a beast that measured up to 40 feet long, stood 13 feet high at the hip, and weighed between 16,000 and 20,000 pounds, the weight of 3 full-sized African elephants, or roughly 2 city buses. This was the dominant, unchallenged apex predator of the Maastrichtian age of the late Cretaceous, stalking the Hell Creek Formation 68 million years ago. For decades, dino normies loved the idea of T-Rex as a clumsy, slow scavenger. Forget that.
Modern research involving detailed analysis of brain structure and muscle attachments paints a picture of a creature perfectly designed for massive, immediate kills. Let's talk power. The T-Rex possessed the most potent bite force of any known terrestrial animal, living or extinct. Studies using finite element analysis, such as those conducted by researchers at the University of Liverpool, estimate its bite force at nearly 6 tons per square inch, or psi. To put that into perspective, an American alligator bites at about 2,000 psi. A T-Rex could generate enough force to crush a small sedan, or punch clean through the thick bone armor of a triceratops. It wasn't just raw power, it was bone-crushing specialization. T-Rex teeth were thick, conical, and deeply rooted, designed not just to puncture, but to shatter and ingest bone, osteophagy.
This indicates an animal that needed to process massive amounts of calcium and bone marrow, reinforcing its status as a highly active, dominant predator that consumed every scrap. Your 10 seconds of life against the king play out thusly. Seconds 1 to 3. Detection. Unlike the Carnotaurus, which relied on speed, the T-Rex used sensory dominance. Its olfactory bulbs, sense of smell, were massive, suggesting an ability to detect chemical signals from miles away, better than a vulture. Its vision was binocular, giving it unparalleled depth perception, and its visual acuity was superior to that of a modern hawk. It sees you, smells you, and calculates the approach. You have no cover. You have nowhere to hide. Seconds 4 to 6. The approach. Though massive, T-Rex could move surprisingly fast, estimated at a comfortable cruising speed of 15 to 25 miles per hour. More importantly, its stride length was immense. It covers ground so quickly that your panic flight is useless.
The sheer auditory and visual spectacle of 20,000 pounds of muscle thundering toward you is enough to induce psychological collapse. Seconds 7 to 10. The kill. This isn't a struggle, it's an execution. The T-Rex doesn't need to pin you or sneak up on you. It just needs to open its mouth. If it takes you whole, which is entirely possible for a human-sized snack, you are subjected to pressures that turn your skeleton into powder instantly. Your death is immediate due to extreme hydrostatic shock and structural failure. If, by some bizarre chance, the T-Rex misses the direct head crush and bites an arm or a leg, the result is still instantaneous: total amputation and evisceration. The animal tears off massive chunks of flesh and bone with a single movement. The resulting trauma, combined with the shock of having 100% of your body weight lifted and shaken by a muscle structure the size of a tractor trailer, means the 10-second timer hits 0 before the pain signals can reach your brain. You are dead on contact. You are RIP.
Oh my God, look at
The Tyrannosaurus Rex is the ultimate nightmare fuel because it represents the pinnacle of predatory evolution. It didn't just survive, it killed so efficiently that nothing dared challenge its dominance. There is no survival strategy, only the brief, horrifying realization that you have become the roadkill of the Cretaceous. We look at these magnificent, brutal creatures, the swift pack tactics of the direwolf, the crushing terror of the entelodon, the surgical precision of the smilodon, the kinetic impact of the Carnotaurus, and the absolute power of the T-Rex, and we gain a new appreciation for the sheer chaos of deep time. Evolution is not kind. It is ruthlessly efficient.
These animals were machines designed to end life, and they did it faster and more violently than anything we encounter today. Our modern world is safe, sheltered by the absence of these hyper-optimized killers. But the fossil record serves as a constant, humbling reminder that for millions of years, if you heard a noise in the brush, you weren't likely to survive the next 10 seconds. Thanks for watching, and until next time on The Lost World.